Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to Map Focus. Like we say always, this is the show where we talk about issues in the maritime industry, the minerals, the aviation, and we move into the port. And today we are here at IBISTECH Limited meeting one big man I've been waiting to meet for a very long time. He is chairman, or let me say lawyer GYAN. Yes, I know you know him, yes. Lawyer GYAN is here with me to talk detail about the port expansion, the Takoradi Port Expansion project that IBISTECH is taking up to do. And I know that at the end of the day, you understand what goes on in the port industry. So stay with us. My name is Esi Boateng. Let me take this opportunity to welcome you. Lawyer GYAN, welcome to Map Focus.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so this is the show that delves deep into the issues in the maritime, the minerals, the aviation, and ports. So we are here today to find out more about you now that you are in the port industry, working seriously in the maritime industry. First of all, tell us a bit about IBISTECH as a company.
IBISTECH as a company was started in the year 2005 by two gentlemen, Nana Obuahene and Eriko Redua Kofi. IBISTECH started its life in energy contracting, particularly working through the energy ministry and later Gridco.
Okay.
And then somewhere 2014, IBISTECH started making inroads towards participating in the port industry. So in a nutshell, that's IBISTECH. It's a wholly owned Ghanaian entity, no foreign interests.
No foreign interest, I like that. Okay, so IBISTECH won the concession agreement between from GPHA. How is that possible, so possible for the company?
Anyone who knows about the maritime industry in this country would attest to the fact that Ghanaian participation is limited at the highest level to about stevedoring and some shore handling activities. In terms of port development and container and multipurpose operations, it's traditionally been the preserve of foreign enterprises. IBISTECH was the first Ghanaian entity to venture into that area. And it started in a very interesting way.
Tell me.
IBISTECH's original interest was in the actual port operations, in terms of development and operation of port facilities. But because IBISTECH didn't have a track record in this area, when IBISTECH approached GPHA to be part of the Takoradi development, the GPHA management at that time told IBISTECH that, look, yes, we are implementing the Takoradi Port Expansion Master Plan. And that Port Expansion Master Plan has different components. One component is the development of an off-dock container terminal, like the Golden Jubilee in Tema.
Yes.
The other component is the development of a new oil jetty for the Western Corridor inside the Takoradi port. And the other component was the development of a container and multi-purpose facility at the waterfront to kind of complete the expansion project, which had previously started with the development of a new extension of the breakwater and the development of the dry bulk jetty. So IBISTECH was challenged to start its life in the port area from the off-dock. So IBISTECH was given an opportunity to look for appropriate site within the vicinity of the port and within the Takoradi enclave to develop an off-dock container facility to start the process of decongesting the waterfront.
Okay.
You know, so that is what IBISTECH did. Got the land, got a concession from GPHA in 2016 January. which is now being operated by an IBISTECH SPV called Tacotel.
Oh.
So IBISTECH's SPV Tacotel is the operator for the off-dock container terminal, which was built by IBISTECH from the concession of 2016.
Wow. Okay, so Tacotel was the first project.
Yes.
Now, tell me a bit.
Tacotel was like, for us, IBISTECH, Tacotel was like justify your inclusion.
Okay, so when you are able to do
demonstrate your capability.
Let's see.
And let's come to the table and talk.
So it was after Tacotel.
So when we delivered on Tacotel, Tacotel became operational in April 2017.
Okay.
And it was done in record time. GPHA management at the time were very impressed.
Great.
So they asked IBISTECH to submit proposals for the development of the container and multipurpose terminal. So the proposals were submitted, and an appendix, on an appendage of that proposal was the proposal to develop the oil jetty, because the concession area, which ultimately was allocated to IBISTECH for the multipurpose, has the existing oil jetty, which must be affected by reclamation and dredging. So IBISTECH had the mandate and authorization from GPHA to develop a brand new oil jetty to minus 14 depth to replace that old jetty which was built, I think, in 1958 at minus 8.4 depth. So we have an oil jetty in Takoradi, which was, like I said, built in 1958, maximum draft of 8.4 meters. The current oil jetty, which is being built by IBISTECH, draft of 14 meters. So you see the difference between the two.
Wow.
And the current jetty, I think you know, would be able to receive a vessel that has 50,000 metric tons of product at dead weight.
Okay. Okay.
The current jetty, the old one, has a maximum 20,000 metric tons. So virtually you have tripled the capacity of the jetty at Takoradi. So that is the interaction between the container multipurpose terminal, the off-dock terminal, and the oil jetty.
Great. Now we'll take the three projects bit by bit so that we get the detail of it, and beginning from the oil jetty.
Okay.
Yeah. Basically, this is to replace the old one, and like you said, 14 meters depth as against 8.4.
Yeah.
And this is going to be able to take it's about 50,000 dead weights capacity.
Metric tons.
Right. Give us an overview of the oil jetty, because we are looking at an oil jetty that is so far the biggest and the most modernized in the sub-region.
Yes.
What makes it that?
The jetty has, it's a completely automated jetty.
Okay.
In the worst case, there are things you can do manually, but the jetty is automated.
Okay.
It has 5 loading arms, which will deal with, so a vessel that comes in with bitumen, heavy fuel oil, diesel, petrol, and LPG.
Okay.
So you can have 5 products flowing through the jetty. You can either discharge these products through the jetty or load these products through the jetty. So that's one of the features of this jetty which makes it super.
Multi-purpose.
In other words, you can use it to export products. It's not just about importing products. You can use this facility to export petroleum products. So if, for example, if you set up refineries within the catchment area of the jetty, you can use the jetty to export products.
Wow.
You can use the jetty also to bring in products. So it's a two-way kind of traffic.
Right.
Now, the jetty also is super for another reason. The existing facility, if you had product in the volume of 50,000 metric tons,
Okay.
the existing facility would cost you 9 days
9
to
days.
offload or discharge. 9 days.
Okay.
This jetty would discharge 50,000 metric tons in 42 hours.
Really?
Yes.
9
In
days,
42 hours. Yes.
The same 50,000.
That's the difference, which the industry players would have to understand or know. That currently, if you bring a vessel loaded with 50,000 tons, metric tons of products, you spend 42 hours at the jetty. The vessel is gone. Discharge the cargo and it's ready to leave port.
Wow.
Now, those in the shipping industry will tell you that vessels and their owners lose money when they stay at port.
Of course.
Vessels make money when they are at sea, but when they are inside a port, they lose money. So you can imagine, 9 days shortened to 42 hours, less than 2 days. So you save a lot of cost for the owner of the cargo and a lot of cost saved for the owner of the vessel. And for the port as well, because then other vessels can dock and discharge their cargo and also leave. In the past, one vessel sits there for 9 days to offload the content,
Okay.
and everybody is losing.
Huge demurrage charge.
Now you have a jetty with all these products, and particularly for bitumen, it has a very superb heating system.
Okay.
So because bitumen is thick,
Yes.
so
yes.
and we have a metering system which is state of the art, so that it would give you the information as to the last drop of product which has been delivered or which is being loaded. So it's not going to be a 1912 kind of measurement where people are using dipsticks to check whether the cargo volumes they have brought is actually the volume that is on the invoices and so on. This one, by the time you are done offloading, you know exactly up to the last drop what actually has passed through the jetty.
Great.
So cargo owners and their suppliers would just rely on what we provide them
And
as a confirmation of the cargo volumes.
Okay.
There should be no problems as to whether somebody has been, there's a short delivery and so on and so forth, because the information that the jetty metering system will provide is accurate to 100%. So it's refreshing that local folks have done this. We had a tour of the facility with the chief executive of the National Petroleum Authority, the MP. He was full of praise for the contractors and the supervisors, the engineers, supervisors, and those who have been behind these things. And I think it's a source of pride for all of us.
Great. How is this oil jetty actually going to impact Ghana's economy?
As we sit here, there is only one platform in Tema which would allow you to bring petroleum products into the country. Now, the facility at Tema can't even deliver 30,000 tons. And the challenge with Tema is that one facility they call the mooring platform at high tide becomes unusable. And because it's been only one facility servicing the entire country, the entire country has to rely on Tema, because the Takrady facility has been pretty inefficient because of the limitations of berth, the minus 8.4.
Okay.
So you can't bring any product beyond 20,000 metric tons to Takoradi. And it makes it uneconomical to rely on Takoradi. So one of the things or the problems that this facility is solving for this country is that in the event there's a problem at Tema, you wouldn't have a shortage of products. In the same vein, in the event there is a problem in Takoradi and Tema is up and running, you wouldn't have a shortage. So you have that guarantee that at all times a facility would be operational. So it's like we are moving away from a situation of putting all your eggs in one basket.
Okay.
Now at least you have two baskets.
Right.
A facility in Tema and a facility in Takoradi. That also gives MPA the opportunity to realign the zoning so that now you have 16 regions. Okay. So MPA will be in a position now to say that this number of regions should take their products from Takoradi. Okay. And this number of regions should take their products from Tema to ease up the congestion and the waiting time for tankers and so on. So, and the other thing that I would say about this facility, which makes it very important for the economy of this country, is that you would be able to export a lot of products now from Takoradi towards the landlocked countries. Okay. So your Malis and your Nigers and your Burkina Fasos would be able to have an alternative to Tema. Great. And finally, if I may add this, because of the capacity to export, this facility we have built in Takoradi would be a platform for the development of the oil industry in the Western Corridor. We have heard from the Minister of Energy the idea of developing an oil hub in that corridor. Exactly. Initially, they were planning to build a dedicated jetty for the export and import. Because if you build refineries in the Western Corridor, you may have to bring in crude oil. Sure. And you may also have to export the finished products. Exactly. The jetty is in a position to do both.
So we don't even need to build any other jetty?
All you need to do is to build a pipeline from the jetty's manifold area to your refinery.
The tank farms.
Yes, and the refinery would be able to bring in the crude and export the finished product as well. Wow. So it's a really significant addition to the oil and gas infrastructure that this country has.
Looking at this compared to other countries, where do you see Ghana's oil industry in the next 10 years?
I think what we probably have to do as a country in that sector is to develop more refining capacity. Okay. In every part of the world, primary products don't yield any serious incomes. If you refined oil in significant quantities, the byproducts of the refining processes alone could form the basis of this country's industrial development. Because of what we get from the oil, all these paints, foam mattresses, and so on. I mean, many people think it's all about kerosene and petrol and diesel and bitumen, but there are things, the plastics are all, petrocarbon based. So if you sell all your oil from FPSOs 162 nautical miles from the beachfront, you won't make any money. You need to put in some value addition. And I think that this jetty stands tall in terms of what you need to be able to add value to our oil. And I think it's, like I said earlier, it's a source of pride, to be part of something like this. Anytime we pass by Takoradi and we see what we have done, not with our hands, but with our brains and resourcefulness to push. Not many people gave us a dog's chance. Because, the Ghanaian doesn't believe in the Ghanaian.
Of course.
But we believed in ourselves. So, by God's grace, we made it.
And I think from now, probably the narrative will change.
Oh, it will. And particularly from the narrative of the international financial institutions who thought we should always be restricted to the small things. I think going forward. And I think what is even more important is that the countries in the neighborhood would also take a cue from what has happened here.
You're right.
That the Ghanaians have concessioned the development of a whole port to locals. And very soon, we would have the opportunity to go to Liberia and Sierra Leone and other places to also participate in port development.
Great.
I think that's where we are looking at. We are not just looking at ending the journey in Takoradi. These guys who Max Line and so on, that's how they started. They started from somewhere.
Exactly.
And they've moved on and become big. So we think that with the proper management and not sleeping on the job and not being complacent, we should make some more progress as we proceed.
Okay, so with proper management, not sleeping and not being complacent, there's going to be progress. If you just join us, you are watching Map Focus live here with lawyer KWAME GYAN. I like to call him chairman.
There are too many chairmen.
So yes, lawyer.
If you call me chairman, people might think I'm a party chairman.
No, you are not a party chairman.
I'm not a politician.
Yeah. The owner of IBISTECH Limited, and speaking to us about the big thing happening in Ghana here and in Takoradi. That is the port expansion project. And right now, you've heard a lot about the oil jetty. That is just one bit of it. We're taking a break. We'll be right back.